Hey everybody, my name is Lisa Dormeyer and I'm your neighbor. I live on Franklin Avenue in Vandergrift. As we approach the primary election next week, I wanted to get to know the candidates a little better. I like to be an informed voter, and there wasn't an opportunity, it seemed, to really get to know the candidates. There wasn't going to be a forum. There really wasn't any media interest because technically the council race is an uncontested race because we will have opportunities to vote for four candidates on both the Democratic ticket and the Republican ticket, depending on how you're registered. And there are only three candidates on each of those tickets. So, in theory, everybody will be put on the ballot through this primary election. Now, we also have the opportunity to write in candidates, which could make things a little more interesting. So, for example, if enough people write in one of the Republican candidates on the Democratic ticket, there's the possibility that a candidate could get bumped off the ticket for the fall. But again, in all likelihood, those who are running in the primary will also be on the ballot come fall. And then in the fall, we'll vote for four who will become those that are serving in this term for council. Mayor is a little more interesting. We have two candidates running for mayor, both on the Democratic ticket. So, barring some kind of write-in campaign, the primary ballot for mayor for our town of Vandergrift will most likely decide the election. But again, there's always the possibility of write-in campaigns, and that's the kind of stuff that makes life interesting. I don't like politics. I don't really want to be involved in politics, but I want to be an informed voter. So that's why I made this video so that I could share it with my neighbors so that if you want to be a little more informed, you can be as well. I am thrilled that I was able to sit down and talk with three of our candidates for council. I was able to speak with Mary Lee Kessler, Chloe Cruz, and Jody Sarno. Christine Wilson had hoped to chat with me, but she was under the weather the day that we were going to do that. And then two candidates I was unable to contact, and so I wasn't able to chat with them about the election. And gratefully, I was able to talk with both Barb and Lenny, who are running for mayor. And I was really pleased to have an opportunity to talk with them. In my conversations, it was great to see the energy and the passion that people are bringing to this election. I love Vandergrift. I moved here intentionally 8 years ago. I love being part of a small town community, and I'm happy to see people with just real commitment wanting to be a part of our council and a part of our town. So anyway, this is long. Grab some popcorn, grab a beverage, sit back. It's about 50 minutes long, and I hope that you enjoy this opportunity to meet the candidates. Again, I had no authority to do this. I just did this to educate myself and decided to share it with others who might just want to know a little bit more about our candidates. So thanks for watching. Thanks for living in Vandergrift, and I look forward to passing you on the street someday. Take care. So today we're going to speak with Mary Lee Kessler. Mary Lee is one of the candidates on the Democratic ticket for council this spring. And I'll be asking Mary Lee the same questions that we're going to ask everyone who is willing to speak with us. So Mary Lee, let's start pretty basic. Can you tell us about yourself and what you do and how long you've lived in Vandergrift?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm a native. I was born here 71 short years ago. Um, Left right after high school graduation, was gone until, with visits, of course, to my family, but came back to live here again in 1989. So 31 years is probably the best answer, although I did spend my childhood here. Graduated from Kiski, went off to Pitt. It was the time of the Vietnam War. So I was a war bride, ended up in Germany, Hawaii with, as a military spouse. Lived in a lot of places, had a lot of neat things and learned a lot, I think, and very happy to come back home. My current job is as a realtor, but my degree is in industrial relations and organizational behavior from Temple University. And I did work at both Temple and the University of Pennsylvania. I took part in negotiations with labor unions. So I think I have a good skill set. Thanks.
So the next question that we're asking everyone is, why do you live in Vandergrift? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we moved here because it made sense. I had young children and elderly parents I was responsible for, and it was affordable enough that I didn't have to work outside the home. Um, did a little bit of realty on the side just to speak with adults, but I love it. It's home. It's comfortable, it's safe, it's got a wonderful past, and it's got a wonderful potential for the future. And my motto is dedicated to my community, and I am. I really am. That's from the heart.
So prior to deciding to run for council, how did you serve the community of Vandergrift? What have you been involved in?
Oh dear God, I'm a nudge. I've been on a lot of different boards of directors, the casino theater for a lot of years. Finally moved on because it was time for younger people. Um, I work together often with the Smart Growth Partnership in trying to bring things to the radar of our community government. I'm active with the Vandergrift Improvement Program, which I would love to see better understood in our community. Because there's a whole lot of resource there that I believe, in partnership with the local government, can do a heck of a lot of good. I'm a member of the First Catholic Slovak Ladies Association, and we donate a lot and do a lot of fun activities, help with fundraisers, spaghetti dinners, the Art Fest, the Christmas parade, and I try to get volunteers lined up for stuff. Also, the Community Watch programs with Joe Gray, which we can't have now, but they are such a good potential forum for residents to not be limited to 3 minutes, to bring up their concerns, and maybe those items can be added to the agenda that get on council's radar without the time limitations. So, and we did the Earth Day cleanup for several years. I can't wait to get back to that. So I think that's about it.
Awesome. What issues do you think you'll be able to address as a member of the council?
Well, I think I have some pretty good interpersonal skills, especially one-on-one. I have good listening skills. I will say that. And I think that I'm good with finding opportunities to network, getting some answers. So I think that more open communication is something that I would absolutely love to help with. And I think I could help effect that. Also, continuing to communicate, with organizations and communities that are near us, because there's a lot of good going on regionally and at the county level. So I'd just like to open the communication up. And then another one, because I'm a realtor, is the issue of blight that all of our communities see. But as a realtor, and just being aware of things that are happening in other communities, I really think that I can help to address that in a way that is bringing people who are capable of helping and doing that, bringing them together so they could do what they should be doing. And I think that would really improve our community. So it's communication and the issue of blight. I think those are the two main things.
So this is a similar question, but what do you think should be the highest priority for the council in general?
I think it's probably the same answers that I just gave. We do have a problem with blight. We would like to increase the and help the commercial area of town, but also the residential areas. And there are pretty simple ways, and everything I'm saying requires community interaction and community support. One of the things that I see a problem with our current government is kind of, I don't know if it's an unwillingness, but maybe I just think it should be more communicative and have more citizen input, so that what you say matters, you know. Um, so I don't know if that was too scattered, but it's basically addressing the two major things I see as an issue. One is blight of the physical areas, and two is communication and making people's opinions matter and roping them into coming out and helping, because none of that is going to work without it. So
Great.
I think I'm okay with that.
So let's imagine for a minute that you are not elected come fall. How will you continue to help build a better Vandergrift in the case of that happening?
Well, I think I'll still be doing most of the things that I'm already doing. I'm just hoping that I'm elected so that I can officially be able to pay attention to some of these things and bring it to the table. My nickname is Mary Mayberry, Mary Mayberry, and I wear that hat proudly because I do believe in the community. So I think I'll continue pretty much doing the things I'm doing. Maybe a little disheartened for not having a voice at that table, which would, I think, make things a heck of a lot easier and more effective and be less work for me. So I think I'm here for the long haul, and I am a helper. So
the last question, you've got a minute to give us your pitch. Why should we vote for Mary Lee Kessler in the primary and then hopefully again in the fall?
Well, I guess I'm Mary Mayberry. I am dedicated to our community. And I think a lot of people already know me because I've been involved in a whole lot of different things and supportive of a whole lot of different things. And I'm not afraid to look for answers and get things together. So I really think that I'm a person who is a helper and a doer. And I think we need that. I think we need people who can work together for different things. We're a multi-generational community. And yes, we've got some wonderful things going on for the little ones and for the youth. I'm a grandma, you know, and I think honestly, we're a community that can just use all of us to make it well for everybody. So I think you should vote for me because I'm nice and I try to help.
That's a great slogan. I like it. So,
for
Mary
me,
Lee, thank you for giving us some of your time today. And we look forward to sharing this with folks on social media, and good luck to you in the upcoming election.
Thanks, Lisa. Nice
You're
seeing
welcome.
you.
You too. You take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Today we have the pleasure of talking with Chloe Cruz. Am I saying your last name correctly, Chloe?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. Chloe, tell us just a little bit about yourself. What do you do, and how long have you lived in Vandergrift?
Okay, so before I moved to Vandergrift, which was in about 2015, I lived closer to the city in Pittsburgh, and I worked at the Waldorf School. But when I first moved here, it was when my kids were really little, and we were looking to get away from the city life, trying to find a quiet, cute little town that was family friendly. And we really thought that Vandergrift was the place because I came here to look at a house and I thought, this is beautiful. All these kids walking to the park and just lots of kids and families everywhere, really pretty houses, walkable neighborhood. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, so I am very used to a busy city life. And it was just really a breath of fresh air to be in Vandergrift. And I just really found it charming and a great place to raise my family.
Awesome. So you've already kind of told us why you live in Vandergrift, but what do you think are the other kind of best things about living here?
There's so many extracurricular activities, small businesses that provide educational opportunities for kids in town. My kids have gone to dance class, acrobat, everything. There's cheerleading, there's lots of sports, and they're all located in our town too. Like I love that, when back a few years ago, there used to be the marching band that would go down our street for the big game on Friday night because the high school football team would play. And I thought that was really charming. And it also showed that a lot of people really cared about those things for the kids here. It was almost like broadcasted and put on display. And I really liked that. That was, I would really love to see that happening again. So not just with the sports, but also with like the community garden. There's lots of Girl Scout activities. Boy Scouts are really, really popular around here and they're very active. So it's nice to know that there are parents and families that have like-minded ideas for their kids to be involved in town, and it's good for the community too. I think it's also an opportunity for volunteers, anyone that wants to contribute to the kind of tribe mind, the saying of it takes a village before. It was really prevalent as I can see, and I think it could even grow more.
Great. So prior to deciding to run for council, can you tell us a little bit how you have served the community of Vandergrift?
I mentioned Girl Scouts before, and I am a Girl Scout troop leader, so I am involved with them, as well as a lot of outdoor education. That is where my expertise is in, going along with the Waldorf School. Nature-based, art-based education. And so I've done that a lot in the parks and also at other parks. Like I used to meet at the Northmoreland Park and Harrison Hills Park to do their outdoor programs as well. So I'm glad I can do that here in a town where I can directly affect kids that my children are going to grow up with. So we're all like-minded, and I feel like that's how I can serve my community, to just get us all together and enjoy it.
Great. Could you dive a little bit into the issues that you think that you'll be able to address as a member of the Vandergrift Borough Council?
I know there are a lot of complaints, at least on Facebook, about how parks and recs are managed, and mention of like playground monitors, or just like, I know that for a while the parks were locked up because of the pandemic, and just trying to figure out how we could solve that issue while also following the guidelines set before us. I think that this town is so charming. It has so much potential in an artistic way as well, that the downtown business district could thrive with a lot more involvement from council members, or just getting together all the people in town that would like to see the same things happen.
Great. What is the most significant issue that you think should be the highest priority for Vandergrift at this point?
Well, just to pick the top one, again, I'm really involved with the kids, and seeing so many live here in town, there should be more concern for them, whether that's at the park or how the police are dealing with troublemakers in town, doing whatever. I think that is something that needs to be pinpointed, and try to figure out how we can address that, and how we can make it better for everyone.
So imagine for a minute that you are not successfully elected to council. Tell us about how you'll continue to serve Vandergrift. Where will your energies go? How will you continue to work for our town?
I'm still a small business owner in town, so I'll still keep doing that, trying to bring business here, trying to have events or educational opportunities that anybody can attend. I would also like to see you will see me at the park, but you will also be able to see what I would have been doing, because I'm still going to be doing it there with my kids. There's the community garden and now the sensory garden that's going to be in soon. I'll still be at the parks with my kids, and I love getting to know all the kids there anyways. So you'll still find me there.
Good. So last question, Chloe. Give us your commercial. Tell us why we should vote for you when we go to the polls in a week or so.
I think because I'm young and I'm new and I have a lot of energy, I am really engaged with the children in the town. I want to see what is best for them. I think that is really what Vandergrift is going to become, what our children are, the next generations of Vandergrift. And I want them to thrive. And I want you to help me to help the youth, so that we can all kind of mold the town into what we would like it to see, or remember what we liked when we were children and growing up in Vandergrift, and try to bring that back, whether that's meeting friends at the park or walking to the store with a group of friends like that. I want to see that continue. You don't find that in a lot of communities, and I think it's wonderful, and we should encourage it.
Great. Thank you so much, Chloe, for your time. And where could people find you if they wanted to get to know you better?
I'm always at my business, the Center on Franklin Avenue, which used to be the Trinity Presbyterian Church. And I'm also always at Franklin Park, right across the street. We'll be at the gardens all this season, spring and summer season, and you can always find me there.
Great. All right. Thank you for your time, Chloe, and good luck to you. So this afternoon, I have the pleasure of talking with Jody Sarno. Am I saying your last name right, Jody?
You're saying it right. Call me anything you want.
Perfect. Terrific. So let's start. Tell us just a little bit about yourself. What do you do, and how long have you lived here in Vandergrift?
Well, as you mentioned already, my name is Jody Sarno. I do live in Vandergrift, Pennsylvania. I work in Pittsburgh and Monroeville for a company called Union/Delator Orthotics and Prosthetics. What I do is I fit braces on people. I work as a pet orthist and an orthotic fitter. And when I say braces, I mean back braces, neck braces, arm braces, knee braces, just not teeth braces, though maybe one day I'll do that too.
That's pretty awesome. That's a very unusual field.
Yeah, it's different. I grew up doing it. My grandfather was a World War II vet, served in the Navy, and when he returned home from the war, it was a business that he got into. There were so many people that needed artificial limbs bracing as a result of war injuries, and then my father did the same type of work, and here I am doing it as well.
Very cool. So how long has Vandergrift been home for you?
I've lived in Vandergrift for 13 years. I have two children that currently go to school here now at Kiski East and Kiski Intermediate. And then I have a son who's 24. He graduated from Kiski Area High School and now serves in the United States Army and the Reserves and as a policeman for the Veterans Administration.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've enjoyed being here, finding a really, really nice place to raise kids. And after I moved here, my mom and my sister moved here also. So they also call this area home.
That says a lot right there. So tell me, why Vandergrift? You know, what do you love about Vandergrift? Why have you chosen to live here for the past 13 years?
Initially, when I looked at where to live, to be honest, I looked at a place that was close to work. I wanted easy access to 28 and the Turnpike. and I was looking for a place that would be kind of out of the city. I'm not a big fan of gigantic towns. I like to live a little bit more on a country setting, and this seemed to be a place that fit the bill. I found housing to be very affordable. Taxes were low, and I looked into the schools, and there's good schools, and visited the town, looked around, and I thought, hey, this would be a nice place to raise my kids. I live up in the Heights, and I love to be able to look north and see the hills. You know, right now this time of year, we're fortunate everything's green and colorful, but it seems to be a nice place to raise a family. That's what I noticed by looking on the internet and seeing reviews about the schools in the community.
Awesome. So let's talk about, you're running for council right now. On
Yes.
Which ticket are you running on?
I'm running as a Republican.
Republican. Okay. And people can, of course, write you in on the Democratic ticket as well, because this is the primary.
Yes.
Tell us about how you have served Vandergrift prior to deciding to run for council.
Prior to deciding to run, I did serve the community in a couple areas. First, initially, I helped with a church plant. It was known as the Well. It was near, I think off of 56, near the Bonfire Restaurant, near Amsler's Auto Body. We did a church plant there. We did a lot of public service activities where I don't know how long you've been in the area, but some of the people that are watching this video might remember at the library, we did a couple of handouts of boots, I think boots and mittens, and we did backpacks and school supplies. And that was all done through the library. I did also about 2 years ago start a program in Vandergrift with the assistance of my wife and my sister, known as the Vandergrift Owls, OWOLS, like the birds. It's a park supervisor program where we observe, watch, listen, and serve, just to help make sure the parks and the area are a safe place for our kids. We've worked primarily at Kennedy Park, and just go there, walk around, make sure everyone's having a good time. Before COVID hit, we loved going out and actually playing ball with the kids. There was a video that we released. We did a half-court shooting competition, and first kid to hit a half-court shot got a gift certificate to, I think it was Dollar General, one of our local businesses. And so those are a couple things that I've done with the community, and I really do love serving people. I think that's something that we have responsibility as people, whether we're running for council or not. If you live a life and you're purely living for yourself and not helping anyone, that can be a pretty empty life.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you think the kind of the issues are that you would be able to address if you were able to serve on council.
I consider myself to be what I would call a constitutional candidate, meaning I want anything I try to accomplish, I want to adhere to and stick to and honor the Constitution, namely principles such as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If I could focus on three things, I would want to focus on taxes, tourism, and traffic to our downtown area. The first issue, taxes, being a pledge. Under no circumstances would I be voting for a tax increase. I don't think that's something that the people in Vandergrift would need, especially with people going through job losses with COVID. I think we can operate our local government in such a way that we look at our books and say, are there areas that we can trim, move funding from one area to another, or do other creative things to raise funding instead of having to raise taxes. And you can also do a cut sometimes in spending as opposed to doing a new project or something where you'd have to throw those increases and funds to a local tax base. Tourism, I think we're here close by, as I mentioned earlier, to the Kiskiminetas River. There's the Roaring Run Trail. There's things I think that we could do to promote our local history. The History Museum just opened back up again. I had a chance to go there before all this stuff happened with COVID. It was fascinating to learn about the history of the area, and it kind of renewed my passion for this area. I think it's a really neat. I think we have a lot of history. Specifically, I would like to see if there's any way that we could work somehow with a boat, maybe possibly getting a boat launch. I know there's a lot of rafting that goes on. along the river. If we could create an area where people who are rafting could stop by, there'd be food trucks that could be brought down there. I would love to see maybe a bike shop or like an outfitter shop open up in the downtown area, which kind of leads me to the third area, like an increase in traffic. I'd love to help promote existing businesses that are in Vandergrift, and also help to encourage new business growth. I think it's fantastic to see what some of the new businesses have done downtown. Illusion Brewery being one of them, that took a building where we were not getting any kind of tax revenue from it, has brought a business in, and they do activities all the time. I did win a couple of trivia contests there, so if you like trivia, I'm the official trivia candidate. I know they do DJ bingo down there, and so those are some areas. Those are probably the three things that I think I could focus on as important issues to tackle. I think one of the most important things that our council should address is really a spirit of unity and cooperation. Through watching a lot of the videos, attending the meetings, I've seen that's been a concern to me. I've been at the meetings before where I've actually had my children there, and I've had to say, hey, I think you guys need to step outside. I would love the council meetings to be something that, honestly, you should be able to have kids watch. Now, it's not going to be as entertaining as a Sunday or Saturday morning cartoon, nor should it be. But I think we can work not only, council members should be able to work with each other, but also communities together. I think there's a group, I have it written down, it's the Community Valley Kiski Intergovernmental Association. A lot of towns, a lot of boroughs in this area are part of that organization. It's kind of you would call it a think tank. Communities that get together, they share ideas and planning. And I don't think Vandergrift has been involved in that. I think we ought to be. I think we could work together on council with council members and also around with our community.
So let me ask a question that's kind of an odd question, but if you're not successful in your bid for council, how do you see yourself continuing to be engaged with Vandergrift?
If I don't get elected, honestly, in my life, personally, very little is going to change from what I do now from this point forward. I would hope to get elected. I think I would do a good job, but life will go on. I think I'll continue to invest myself in the Owls. And, being on council gives you an opportunity to, address issues, from that standpoint. But I would also have the opportunity to still continue to go to the council meetings. And if there's issues, ideas, some of these projects, I could bring them directly to council myself. But I'm still going to be Jody. I'm still going to be a dad and a husband, and things will go on. Before this happened, or not before this happened, before I made the decision to run, I spent a lot of time talking with my kids, talking with my wife, and praying about it. And the attitude that I took is I told God, I said, if it's your will, it's your bill. If you want this to happen, make it happen. And if it doesn't happen, that's okay. I'll be all right.
Good attitude. So bring us home. You've got a minute. Tell us why we should vote for you.
I would say if you think we can do a better job with council, okay, if you've watched the council meetings, you've turned into the Zoom meetings, and maybe before that you came in person, and you've seen things go on. I think we can do a better job. I think I can help with that. I encourage people that are watching the video or who do watch the video to check out my Facebook page. I will talk in greater detail some of these things I'd like to hope and try to get accomplished. And if those are things that interest you, then I would say, vote for me. I'm someone that loves Vandergrift. I've raised family here. I am raising family here. And I want Vandergrift to continue to be a place that would attract young families, and our community continue to be a place where you'd want to come and live, set down roots, and raise a family. We've got a good town here. I believe that we really do. But like anything that you have that is precious to you, and you need to maintain it, and you need to take care of it, because things naturally will deteriorate over time. And I think we can do better. And if someone says, yeah, I think we should do better and we ought to, and they check out the Facebook page and they say, this is a guy I'd like to vote for, go for it, please. I'd appreciate your support.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and
Yeah.
being part of this video, and wish you luck. And
Thank
again, folks can check out your Facebook page, and you take care. All right. All right. Those were the 3 candidates for council that I had an opportunity to chat with. And now we're going to talk with both of the candidates for mayor. I think I previously mentioned both Lenny and Barb are running on the Democratic ticket. And so this primary election may well decide the final election unless something interesting happens on the write-in ballots. But I hope that you enjoy meeting Barb and Lenny and that this was helpful to you as you get ready to go to the polls. Today, I am fortunate to be talking with Barb Torak. Is that
Toriak,
Toriak? Okay, thank you. So Barb is one of the candidates for mayor. Barb is our acting mayor right now in Vandergrift, elected 4 years ago.
Yes, well,
Okay,
almost
4 years.
Yes, correct.
So tell us just a little bit about yourself. You know, what do you do? How did you come to live in Vandergrift? How long have you lived here?
Okay. First of all, I lived in Leechburg almost all my life, so I am very familiar with Vandergrift. My mother used to bring us up. It was a big field trip for us. We used to go shopping here, Penny's and Altmeyer's and all the stores. It was like a exciting time for us. And so that's more or less how I got to know Vandergrift, Isley's, you know, and all of that type of thing. I've lived here for 17 years now, and I moved here from Lower Borough. I lived there for 25 years. I've been a school teacher for 35 years.
Wow.
I'm now retired, and I taught most of my school, and I'm a reading specialist in Leechburg, but I did teach in Kiski with all the elementary schools when they were all active, and I also taught at St. Gertrude's. So I was a Title I math teacher for Kiski, and then I substituted for them too. So I'm familiar with the whole entire Kiski area, and I also taught junior high civics, and civics is government.
Oh, wow.
So I'm very aware of how government should be run.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's part of my teaching is my life. It was my life, and now being mayor is my life.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's basically who I am. And
so with every place you've lived, how did you eventually land in Vandergrift and commit so much of your time and energy to Vandergrift?
well, what I always did when I left Lower Borough, I was looking for a place close to Leechburg. So I really looked at about 18 or 19 different places, and I found this beautiful apartment on Franklin. And I was hoping I could get it. And when I did, my landlord and landlady lived right beside me in the same home. It's like a duplex.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that my landlord went to Leechburg, and my father taught him.
Oh,
So we have become really good friends.
that's great.
And it's just, I just love it here. I mean, I love the people here. I walk all the time. I used to walk a lot more than I do now. And I met so many nice people.
Yeah,
So
for sure. So besides service as mayor, how else have you given of your time in Vandergrift?
I started volunteering. I served spaghetti dinners at St. Gertrude's, and I met beautiful people there too. I mean, not just the townspeople, but the people I work with. In fact, I miss them since we haven't been able to have that. I also was on the board for the Italian festival, and I also helped at one of the booths at the festival. So I've done those kind of things, and anytime anybody needs some help, if I can help them. Like, for example, this year when we didn't have a parade for Halloween, things like that, I'm out there.
Great.
Those are things that I do for the
Awesome.
community. So
Great. So let's talk about the issues a little bit. What do
Okay.
you think the issues are that are most important for you to address as mayor of Vandergrift?
I have something. First, I truly believe, and unfortunately we don't have this. I I love Dollar General, but I truly think that we need like a deli and fresh produce, something in town, because there are a lot of people that just walk and they don't have cars. And even myself, I would like to be able to walk someplace and get tomatoes and lettuce and we don't have anything available like that. I also think that uh, some of our buildings that are vacant should be demolished. And I'm not sure exactly where to go with this. I know we're going to be building a big park on Washington, and I would like to see some of these other buildings. I just feel that they're really unsafe, and I worry about, especially the children, because I'm a teacher, of getting inside of those buildings and getting hurt. And I know we boarded them up and things, but just if we could eliminate, just some of that and bringing more businesses into town, I would love to see that. And we brought in quite a few, but I would love to see some more businesses. And I'm hoping that we can attract some people into this area.
Awesome.
And so these are things, and I do work with the police. I am in charge of the police, so that's another thing. I'm one of these people that I keep in contact with them. They can come to me, and that's as the mayor. I feel that we need it. We need this back and forth thing, and they know that my office is always open if they have something they need to discuss with me. And I think that's truly an important thing, to be in contact with them all the time.
Great.
And that's
So
where I am.
those are kind of your issues that you're passionate about.
Yes.
Can you share with us, what do you think the most critical thing is that the whole council and the mayor need to do moving forward? Like, what's the biggest issue that you need to address?
I thought about this, and because you said about priorities, I think any issue that comes to us is a priority. I can't specifically say that one thing's more than another thing, because I think if something is approached at that point in time, that's the priority. And I mean, that's how I feel about that.
Okay.
I don't have a specific issue. As I said, the buildings, our sidewalks, you're aware of that. Those need taken care of, and our road systems, but they're getting there.
Yeah.
So
good.
So these are the things
So Barb, sorry about that.
That's okay.
So I'm going to ask you to imagine for a minute that you don't get reelected.
Okay.
How will you continue to serve this town and the people of this town if you're not elected mayor again?
Okay, I would do the same things I just mentioned. I would still, because even as mayor, I still volunteered for everything. I would continue to volunteer at St. Grove's and festivals and things like that. For example, I would still probably walk around town like I usually do. If somebody comes up to me and says, I would probably still go to the council and say, this is a problem, even though if I'm not mayor. But I would make sure that they were aware of some of the problems that were happening in the town, or even suggestions. I'm up for that. I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm a good listener.
Good.
I am a good listener, and when we had the open door policy, people would come into my office all the time and just say, this is this. And sometimes people just want to talk to you, and that's important. To me, that's very important.
That's great.
That they trust me enough to speak to me.
Terrific. Good. So we're going to bring it home by giving you a minute to tell us why we should vote for you.
When I was elected, I not necessarily wanted to be mayor, but I wanted to do something to help the town. And so that was my first step. And when I became mayor, I think now that it's almost 4 years, I think people should vote for me again, because I know the ropes. I know everything is more or less happening. I'm familiar with the people that I work with, and I know what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it. It took me about a good year, seriously, to get myself going and getting involved. And there's a lot more to being a mayor than what I realized. And now with the pandemic and everything else that's happening in the world, I'm growing. And I feel that I can handle situations that I never thought I could handle. So I feel now that I'm confident enough to be that person again. I truly do. And I love the people here. So I do. I just love the town.
That's
So-
awesome. Well, thank you so much for being willing to talk to us today, and we wish you luck on Tuesday.
Thank you.
And I think we all hope for Vandergrift to thrive and grow and be a great place.
To.
Right.
I think it's going to, no matter what, it's going to.
Yeah.
Because it's a great place to be. It really is.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy this afternoon to speak with Lenny Collini. Lenny has been a member of the council, but in this election, he is one of our candidates for mayor. So Lenny, let's start out. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you lived in Vandergrift? What do you do?
Well, thanks for having me here this afternoon. I am running for mayor. My profession is, I work I'm a highway maintenance operator. That's what I do for a job. And I'm also a musician. I play around town. I've been playing music for, it seems, centuries. It's been a long time. So, and I pretty much know where to play out here and there. Talk about my family. I'm the son of Mr. and Mrs. Lenny, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Collini. I have 4 siblings. One has passed away. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. One brother has passed away a couple of years ago. I'm married to a woman I grew up with, Karen. We have 2 wonderful kids. They're both adults now, but they still live in Vandergrift here. One's coming back from college, and the other one still lives in Vandergrift. And we want to raise our kids here in this town. We're all born here and raised here. My wife was born here and raised here too. So I think the values that were bestowed to me from my parents growing up in this town, I want to do the same thing with my kids, because it was, it's always been a beautiful place. Growing up here, and I know there's a lot of people out there that when we grew up in this town, it was a lot different then. And it was a little more simpler living. And there's nothing wrong with that, but times change, and we got to move forward.
Right. Do you ever think about living somewhere else? I mean, why do you still choose to live in Vandergrift? I know you've been around the world. Why Vandergrift?
Well, first off, it's a wonderful place, and I've seen a lot of different communities across America. I mean, I lived in Los Angeles for about 10 years, right out of high school. Okay, so chasing a music dream of some sort, and coming back because my family needed me, and I wanted to, it was time to move into my adulthood. And coming across, you see a lot of things. You've seen a lot of different communities and a lot of towns, but there's nothing like this town. The way it's designed, the way the historical things, the values to it. The people that live here won't let go of this. Okay, there are many that tried to move away, but they still have their roots here. As such as I do. That's what we do.
Awesome.
Vandergrift, I guess that's what we do.
Right. So tell me about how you have served Vandergrift. What kind of things have you done as a council member and in other organizations? How have you served Vandergrift over the years?
Well, I wanted to make a difference first off. 12 years ago, I saw the town that I live in starting to decline. In a lot of different fashions, a lot of different ways. Everything's moving out. There's no business in town. There was nothing. I'm going back 12, 13, 15 years ago. And it was just getting out of hand. The pool, there was no pool. I mean, it got real crazy here. So I decided to run for council. And I've been on council for 12 years. I'm moving into as a mayor because I had 12 years of politics and policies. I mean, and that's all good. I thought I did a good job. I hope I did. And I want to move into something that's a little more personal. I mean, as a mayor, I can go one-on-one with people and talk about their needs and what they want, and help out with all these organizations. Get involved with all the organizations, you know, and help them get their thing through the council or, you know, whatever. Just be personal. That's what my job would be, is to be, I'd be that face. That I would be that personal person.
Yeah, that's great. You have a lot of passion about that.
Yes.
So let's talk about the issues. What do you think the biggest issues are that are facing Vandergrift that you would be addressing as mayor?
Well, I mean, there are a few big issues. I do believe that the blight that's in this town, our community, I mean, our neighborhoods have, and especially in the residential area, you got some houses and that are abandoned. And they don't, you know, there's nobody moving in, and it all overgrows, and it's just, it looks ugly, it looks really bad for our town. So, you know, if the young couple is looking for a nice town to move into and start a family, and they gotta live beside that, that's not good. And then with the commercial side of things too, there's a lot of commercial buildings in our town that are just abandoned and just, they don't look good. Nobody wants to take that step and reorganize this, okay? I'm that guy. I wanna do that. And I'll get the council to back that up. I would definitely get the council to back that up. Another thing is, you know, I'd like to see more cars parked at one, 5 cars parked at one resident. I mean, you know, and you can't, things that not gotta just need to change in that respect, because there's nowhere to go. I mean, we're all like crammed in on these streets, so our infrastructure needs to be looked at, I think. Our business section, I think we need more business. I think we need to get more economics in this town. All over this town, not just in our downtown section. There's a business section that lives up in the Heights, and people forget about that, but it's still there. And I grew up when it was all up there too. So yeah, I mean, the blight business, I mean, we're all here together, and we'll all put all this together and make it work. Moving this town forward is the key. And changing our direction, not direction, so to speak, changing our way of thinking in this town is the positive, because it's not like it used to be, but it can get that way to move forward.
Right, right. So let's imagine for a minute that you don't get elected this fall. Or actually the primary election, because you're both running on the Democratic ticket. Next week's election may actually tell the tale. So how does Lenny Collini continue to serve Vandergrift if you're not successful in your bid for mayor?
Well, I believe that I'm going to keep doing what I do now. I mean, I'm always involved with something. I'm involved with trying to create, like at the casino theater, trying to create a new show so people can come down and do that. We did new things up at the pool, new things at the park. There's new things everywhere I turn to. There's organizations always looking to do something, especially bring my band in for fundraisers and stuff like that. I will always be a part of that. And if I can do it, I will always be there. I mean, that's just my nature. I help out my neighbors. You know, that's what we do. That's
who you are, right?
That's how I mean, that's how Vandergrift people really are. Everybody in Vandergrift feels that way. In one way or another, they do feel that way. Are they timid? Are they timid in a way of not getting involved, or you know, that's, you gotta reach out. You gotta reach out. And I'm that guy. I can reach out and do that.
So bring us home by talking to us for a minute about why we should vote for you. Give us your pitch. Why should we vote for Lenny when we go to the polls next week?
Lisa, well, I'm here for the people, foremost, for the people, and I will do that first before I even do anything for me or my family or any of that stuff, because we got to take care of our people in this town. Because at one time, this town had 25,000 people at one time, and now we're down to like 5,000. We need to take care of our people in this town and keep them here. Let's keep them involved. Let's keep them going back to down to the downtown section and supporting our businesses. Let's keep that intact. I mean, you know, you got to have in a small community like this, you got to have the dedication. You got to have the experience. Um, and I have both of those.
Hmm.
And I can put all that in use and put it in perspective and make things happen. Um, you know, I'm at a point where I need to move into another pair of shoes.
Hmm.
Okay. And it's time to move into those shoes. Um, I'm here for all the citizens, whether you vote for me or not.
Hmm.
I'm going to be there for them. And truly can, accept would appreciate your vote.
Awesome. Well, okay, that's it. If you have watched this whole thing, you deserve some kind of prize. And I'm here to give you that prize. I'm going to put it a little plug in for an event that's coming up in Vandergrift this summer. The Art Fest is back. Our theme for this year is Art, Heart, and Soul. We've got a great lineup of music all day from noon to 8 p.m. We have food trucks. We have an incredible number of artists and vendors already registered. It's Sunday, July 25th from noon to 8 p.m. on Grant and Columbia Avenues. There will be a kids zone. Some of our nonprofits are going to be there so that people can learn about our nonprofits in the area. And like I said, food trucks, art, vendors, activities, incredible music. So mark your calendar for Sunday, July 25th. Come out and enjoy the Art Fest and consider that your prize for watching this video and caring about what's happening in the town of Vandergrift. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.